Welcome back to the Horror Hub. Let's jump right into the story. It was a dark night. Sarah was walking along the deserted street, looking for her home. She had gotten lost on her evening walk and had no idea where she was. Suddenly, she heard footsteps behind her. Sarah turned round, but saw no one. Still, she kept feeling that someone was following her. She started to run, but her legs felt like lead. Her heart pounded in her chest, and she could barely control her breathing. When she finally saw her house in the distance, she thought she was safe. She opened the door and stepped inside, but she still wasn't safe. She heard footsteps in her house. Sarah ran to the bedroom, where she grabbed her phone and called the police.
"Please help me. Someone is in my house,"
she whispered into the receiver. She heard the footsteps getting closer. Sarah ran to the bathroom and locked herself in. She sat on the floor, with her knees pressed against her chest and her hands in front of her face. She heard the bathroom door open and felt someone step inside. Sarah didn't know who it was, but she knew she was in danger. She tried to make herself as small as possible, hoping the intruder would not see her. She heard the intruder's footsteps in her house and didn't know who it was. She had called the police, but wasn't sure if they would arrive in time. She heard the bathroom door open and felt someone step inside. Sarah held her breath and tried to stay as still as possible. She felt a hand on her shoulder and startled.
"Sarah, is that you?"
whispered a familiar voice. Sarah recognized the voice of her neighbor, John. She relaxed and stood up.
"What are you doing here?"
she asked.
"Oh, I heard you running and screaming and thought you might be in danger,"
John said.
"I came in to make sure you were all right."
Sarah was relieved, but also angry with John.
"You could have given me a heart attack. Why didn't you just come to my house to ask what was going on?" "I thought you might be in trouble and I needed to act fast," John said. "I never thought that you were lost and would be so scared."
Sarah relaxed and let her shoulders droop.
"I'm so glad it's you, John. I thought I was in danger."
They heard the police sirens coming closer. John grabbed Sarah's hand and helped her up.
"Come, let's go inside. The police are almost here."
They walked outside and saw the police cars stop in front of the house. Sarah told the officers what had happened and that she had gotten lost on her evening walk. She explained that she had heard John and thought he was an intruder. The officers looked at John and asked him what he had to say.
"I'm Sarah's neighbor," John said. I heard her screaming and thought she was in danger. I came inside to help, but then it turned out she was lost."
The officers seemed satisfied with his statement and decided no further action was necessary. Sarah and John thanked the officers and walked back to their homes together. When they arrived at Sarah's house, John asked if she wanted to come in for a cup of coffee. Sarah was still upset and decided it would be good to calm down for a while. They walked in and sat down at the kitchen table. Sarah told John about her stray evening walk and how scared she had been when she thought there was an intruder in her house. John listened intently and nodded understandingly.
"I can imagine how scared you were," he said, "but I'm glad I got there in time to help you."
Sarah nodded and took a sip of her coffee, but when she looked up, she saw something in John's eyes that made her wince. It was a look of guilt.
"John, what's going on?" asked Sarah. "Why are you looking so guilty?"
John heaved a deep sigh and began to speak.
I have something I need to tell you," he said. "I'm afraid I may have been the intruder you heard."
Sarah's mouth fell open in surprise.
"What do you mean?"
she asked.
"I didn't come in to help," John confessed. "I came in to steal. I'm in financial trouble and I thought I could grab some money from your house while you were gone."
Sarah was shocked.
"But then why didn't you just mug me or something?" she asked. "Why did you make me think I was in danger?" "I didn't know what else to do," John said with tears in his eyes. "I really needed the money and didn't want to hurt you. I thought if I scared you, you wouldn't know what was happening and I could take the money without you knowing."
Sarah was furious and shocked. She stood up and walked to the door.
"I want you to leave now," she said. "I can't believe you did this to me."
John got up and walked to the door. He turned and looked at Sarah.
"I'm so sorry," he said. Sarah looked at him with anger. I can't forgive you for what you did, she said. I never thought I could kill someone, but after what you did to me, I don't know if I can control myself. John's eyes grew big with terror. Sarah, please, I understand I've been wrong, but you don't have to kill me. Sarah walked to the kitchen and grabbed a knife. She held it up and looked at John. You had no right to do this to me, she said. You made me think I was in danger, and I've never forgiven you for that. She ran over to John and stuck a knife into his chest. John looked at her with a puzzled expression and then fell to the ground. Sarah stared at the blood on her hands and knew she would never be the same. She called the police and told them what had happened. When the officers arrived, Sarah was taken in for questioning. She told them what John had done and how she had killed him. She was arrested and sentenced to life in prison. Sarah sat behind bars thinking about everything that had happened. She wondered if she would ever be able to forgive what she had done. But one thing she knew for sure. John couldn't break in again. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and leave a like. Thanks for watching.